Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A general announcement. We request everyone to keep their mobile phone in silent mode. We request everyone to keep their mobile phone in silent mode. Further, we request everyone to remain seated till the end of the program. We, Dr. Shankar Kumar and Dr. Sangeeta, are very much honored to host this memorable event. It is a proud moment in the history of PSG and Sons Charities Trust, whose legacy has been embarked on the ages over 100 years and a true inspiration for the future generations to be proud of forever. I, on behalf of the management and the principal of PSG Polytechnic College, immensely proud to welcome everyone for the PSG and Sons Charities Centenary Lecture.
Shri P.S. Govindasamy Naidu, a visionary and a great philanthropist whose initials formulated PSG to its immortal glory and fostered the growth of the society through community service. The 100 years of commitment and legacy of PSG institutions founded by the four sons of him has been handed down through several generations to the successor. The charitable trust has embedded with the vision, let there be charity so that other people may share my family's prosperity. What started in the 1920s as an industrial institute by the Charitable Trust blossomed into the institutions of high repute, reinforced the vision of the founders and fulfilled the dreams of aspiring individuals through educational transformation.
Let us celebrate all the activities of PSG and Sons Charities, its vision, its transformation, commitment and achievements through video presentations.
For nearly a century, PSG and Sons Charities has been transforming lives through education, healthcare and community service. Founded in 1926 by the four sons of Shri P.S. Govindasamy Naidu, the trust was built on a powerful principle, giving back to society. What began with the establishment of Sarvajana High School and PSG Industrial Institute in Peelamedu has grown into a legacy that spans generations. Shaped by visionary guidance over the decades, PSG has built an unparalleled educational ecosystem. Today, under the stellar leadership of Shri L. Gopalakrishnan, the Trust continues to thrive and transform, setting new benchmarks in education, healthcare and service. From multiple PSG schools, which lay the foundation for young learners, to premier institutions like PSG Polytechnic College, PSG College of Arts and Science, PSG College of Technology, and PSG Institute of Management, the Trust has set global benchmarks in academic excellence. Institutions such as PSG Institute of Health Sciences, PSG Institute of Technology and Applied Research, and PSG Institute of Architecture and Planning further expand its multidisciplinary reach, fostering innovation and expertise across diverse fields. Known for cutting-edge research, strong industry partnerships, and a commitment to holistic development, PSG institutions produce graduates who excel worldwide, driving innovation and progress. With the establishment of PSG IMSR, PSG Hospitals, and PSG Institute of Oncology, the Trust has brought world-class accessible healthcare to the community. From pioneering heart transplants to advanced cancer treatments, PSG continues to redefine medical excellence. PSG STEP, the Science and Technology Entrepreneurial Park, nurtures startups and innovation. the PSG Institute of Advanced Studies drives breakthroughs in nanotechnology and biotechnology, while its credit transfer programs foster global collaborations with leading universities. The PSG Convention Center is a state-of-the-art venue for conferences, exhibitions, and cultural events. With modern architecture and a pillar-less auditorium that seats over 1,500, it fosters innovation, knowledge sharing, and community engagement. Initiatives like PSG Manavar Illam and PSG Vishnu Granthi uplift underprivileged communities, staying true to the Trust's commitment to service. Today, with 30 institutions, PSG and Sons Charities continues to positively impact over 5 lakh students, standing as a driving force for change and opportunity. True to Sri P.S. Govindaswamy Naidu's vision, let there be charity so that others can share my family's prosperity. PSG's legacy continues to inspire and transform lives. This is the PSG legacy.
Now we invite the dignitaries to occupy the dais. Let us all invoke the Almighty to shower His blessings.
நீராறும் கடலொடுத்த நிலமடந்து கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் வதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனர் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிலமை திரும்பியந்த செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Please be seated. It is my great pleasure to invite the principal of PSG Polytechnic College, Dr. B. Giriraj, to welcome the gathering.
Respected Managing Trustee, Sri L. Gopalakrishnan, distinguished Chief Guest, Dr. Rangan Banerjee, Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, the Core Committee of the Centenary celebrations of PSG and Sons Charities, heads of various PSG institutions, directors, secretaries, deans, controller of examinations, HODs, faculty and research scholars from various PSG institutions, members from the press and media, guests, and dear students, good morning. It's my pleasant duty to welcome you all for the lecture series as a part of the centenary celebrations of PSG and Sons Charities. Started in the year 1926, PSG and Sons Charities have successfully completed 100 years. As a part of the centenary celebrations of the Trust, the management has decided to organize a number of activities for this full year, starting from January 2026 to January 2027. The activities includes organizing a mega event, the products of PSG products, wherein the alumni entrepreneurs of all the PSG institutions will be exhibiting their products in an open house exhibition during December 2026. It is estimated that more than 1,000 stalls will be exhibited during this particular period. Also, release of Centenary stamps and covers in the name of PSG institutions with the support of the Indian Postal Services is planned. A Centenary clock pillar will be constructed. Infrastructure improvement in adopted government schools in and around Coimbatore as a CSR activity. And solid and water waste management for Coimbatore city along with Coimbatore Corporation and Sirutuli. Also organizing PSG trophies for various games at state and national level. As a part of these celebrations, it was decided to invite eminent speakers from various parts of the country and even abroad to talk to our faculty and research scholars. Today, we have one such eminent speaker, Dr. Rangan Banerjee, Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, to talk to us on the topic, Future of Higher Education, Research and Innovation in India. We thank you, sir, for readily accepting our invitation and taking time to come over all the way from Delhi to Coimbatore in spite of your busy schedule. We know that we have troubled you a lot, but all said and done, it is a part of our celebrations, and then we are really happy that you are taking part in this. Let me wholeheartedly welcome you to PSG institutions. I deem it an honor to welcome our Managing Trustee, Sri L. Gopalakrishnan, who is the architect of the modern PSG. Your support and guidance have significantly improved the quality of education at PSG institutions. Welcome you, sir. I welcome all the heads of PSG institutions, directors, secretaries, deans, control of examination, HODs, staff and research scholars, and invited guests for the Centenary lecture. Let me take this opportunity to thank Dr. Sharmila, HOD EC Department from PSG Polytechnic College, under the guidance of Centenary Celebration Core Committee for inviting and making necessary arrangements in bringing our distinguished guest, Dr. Rangan Banerjee, Director, IIT Delhi, to PSG. Welcome you all once again. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your warm words of welcome. We now request Dr. Jayanti, Principal, PSG College of Arts and Science, to present a bouquet to our chief guest. I kindly request Dr. T.M. Subbarao, Principal, PSG Institute of Medical Sciences and Research, to honor the chief guest with a shawl.
Thank you, sir. Quote, Robin Sharma once he stated, leadership is not about a title or a designation. It's about impact, influence, and inspiration. Impact involves getting results. Influence is about spreading the passion you have for your work, and you have to inspire your teammates and customers.
Now, I am extremely elated to introduce the chief guest of today's function, Dr. Rangan Banerjee, Director, IIT Delhi, to this august gathering. Dr. Rangan Banerjee has been serving as Director of IIT Delhi since 2022 and a pioneer in starting the international campus of IIT Delhi in Abu Dhabi. Over 30 years of experience in teaching and research, Dr. Banerjee is responsible for setting up of a new department entitled Energy Science and Engineering at IIT Bombay during 2007 and enacted as the first head. Further, he served as Dean Research and Development at IIT Bombay and escalated the growth of IIT Bombay through research, industry consortia and centers, technology transfer, and licensing and supporting students' research. He collaborated with several industries and developed projects on energy efficiency, renewables, and modeling. In addition, Dr. Banerjee was involved in setting up of a megawatt scale solar thermal power plant cum test facility center funded by the Government of India. He was a part of Team Shunya, a student team that represented India in solar decathlon, Europe, China, and the US, and built houses using solar energy. Also, he was the lead author of Global Energy Assessment, coordinated by International Institute of Applied Systems Analysis, and contributed as a member of Internal Review Committee for the RCUK review of UK's energy program. He was awarded with excellence in teaching at IIT Bombay and a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering. He has been serving as adjunct professor at Carnegie Mellon University. Sir, we are eagerly awaiting to listen to your words of wisdom on the future of higher education, research, and innovation in India.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Yes, okay. Okay, can you put the slides? So let me first of all say how delighted and honored I am to be here. I knew about PSG in engineering as a student of mechanical engineering. Way back in the 80s, we did use the PSG data book. What I did not know about was the history of the school and the history related to the national anthem. I was also fascinated to see the focus of engineering, medicine, arts, science, architecture, so many different disciplines. We are looking at education. This is one place where you have a, is there a, okay. So this is one place where you have almost all disciplines in one complex. And this is really something where you can really provide leadership in education. The topic given to me by your organizers, future of higher education, research and innovation. Very broad topic, very difficult topic, right? And I'm speaking to all of you, most of you are teachers. How many of you are research scholars, PhD students? Raise your hands. Okay. How many teachers? Faculty members? Excellent, excellent. So we know our audience. So what I thought initially, should I show statistics, look at data? But then I thought that instead of doing that, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about higher education, the challenges, and then I will talk about what we do at IIT Delhi, different aspects of it, so that there is a practical orientation to all what we are talking of in higher education. And I would encourage you at the end to ask questions so that I can expand on things. So that, basically we are all in the field of education and research, and this is one opportunity for us to discuss and interact regarding the challenges and opportunities for higher education and research. So, having said that, can we have the slides, please? It's always difficult to talk to a very large group and interact, right? And I know this is still probably easier than the challenge that you face in the classroom, right? Because students are always on their phones or their laptops, their mind is elsewhere, and that is one of the trickiest challenges for us. You got it? So, the first question we should ask, step back and look at what is the role of higher education? What is higher education for? Can you tell me? Is there a mic in the audience? Well, they get the slides. Okay, we've got the slides. So we are talking of future higher education, research and innovation. We'll focus on India. This doesn't seem to be working. It's not. Yeah. So this is the question we are asking. What is the role of higher education? What do you think? What is the role of higher education? Anyone? Role of higher education? Shaping the future, okay, good. All right, that's an interesting thing. Making people employable, shaping the future, anything else? Producing good human beings for society, yes. What else? Nation building, create wealth, yes, okay. Solve real world problems, absolutely. So we go forward. One of the objectives, you have all said it, creation of new knowledge and ideas. So typically, universities, education, understand systems, processes, find out new things which will then help society. We are also looking at excellence in teaching and research. Creating, and you said this, creating the future workforce, also creating future citizens. So it's not just about what we are teaching them, but we are also have a responsibility of teaching people ethics and values. I'm not sure how good we are at that. That is very tricky, very difficult in the current situation. There are so many other influences. How much influence can you put in the classroom? But it is our job, right? Social impact, and this was mentioned, solving problems. Knowledge and ideas to solve local, regional and global problems. And I think in this, I feel PSG is, if you look at the initiation where you have started with, you are looking at the PSG where you are creating not only engineers but technicians. You are linking with industry. You have a polytechnic, right? So we are looking at social impact, knowledge and ideas to solve local, regional and global problems. So the higher education has a role in training future generations, creating future citizens, creating new knowledge and understanding, helping in terms of both locally, regionally, nationally, globally, providing solutions for problems, providing basically leadership of thought and ideas, right? So it's a very broad kind of canvas, right? You have disciplines and silos, you are training people, you are looking at new ideas. So this is typically the role of higher education. And so how many of you are from economics and management? Economics management, any people? Okay. You must be knowing the difference between private good and public good. Can someone tell me what is a private good and a public good? Private good, public good? Anyone? No? It's okay. So, essentially there are characteristics. Yes?
Sir, public good is for public use, all can use, accessibility is there. Private, limited accessibility, only
Okay.
few.
Okay, so it's like this, there are characteristics, technically you classify it as if something is rival and exclusive, it's a private good, right? For instance, I have a phone, it's my phone, I've bought it, it belongs to me, right? A particular thing which is individual ownership is a private good. But if you look at a view, the atmosphere, something which is there in society, a public park, everyone has access. Someone's using that does not affect someone else using it. So the question is whether higher education is just for individual or it is for society. And there are different kinds of views on this. The reasoning for it is typically what happens, public goods, like for instance the defense is a public good because you are creating security, right? Public goods are paid for by the broader community. Private goods are paid individually. And higher education has both characteristics, but I argue, and we believe, many people believe this, that typically higher education has a characteristic of a public good. It is not just helping the individual, but it is helping the society. And I'll tell you the reason for this. So you have this quadrants, individuals and society, and what happens is definitely the student, he or she who's getting higher education is benefiting individually. So individually is likely to get employment, higher earnings, increased productivity, and that is the market. Non-market is more likely to be educated, would have an inclination to vote, volunteer, to have an ethical thing, look at things which is there. It will also help society because you are creating some knowledge. Now, of course, when I create knowledge, I might patent it and I might get benefit from it in terms of revenues. But I may also put it in the public domain, right? And many others may create it. You may get an understanding which then helps society as a whole. Our graduates may be creating more employment. They'll be paying taxes. So there are many other things which come from higher education, which is not directly only restricted to the group which is being educated. For instance, in the IITs, we are highly selective. 1% of the students who want to do our BTech, then these students who go out, when they go and they are making their own companies or they are contributing, they are impacting a larger community. So the whole idea is that I believe that higher education is essentially a public good, and that becomes a justification for society and governments to provide support so that it is accessible, it is cost effective, and it is rare that a charity like PSG is funding. You have student fees which are amongst the lowest in any private institution. They are lower than many of the government institutions. So, education can actually transform individuals and generations of and families, right? And I'll give you examples of that. So this is one of the points I wanted to make. History of universities, you will see that actually we in India are fortunate to have had the earliest universities in history. 600 BC to 1200 AD, Indian universities, Takshila, Nalanda, Vallabhi, Vikramshila. And interestingly, you can see some of these presentations. They don't have that recognition because typically what happened is then the European universities came, and today currently the whole concept of the university is dictated by the US research universities. But historically, if you see, and you can look at some of this, interestingly, if you look at the literature, these universities that we had in India historically had international students. They had some peer review process. They would have the students present to a whole group of scholars, and then they would get their degrees. They would be, this was a Gurukul system residential campus. They would not have to bother about the studies, so they would get fellowships, thesis defense, and even multidisciplinarity. So the thing is, many of the things we talk of as modern are also have been there in literature. Then, after that, there was sort of a gap. In the 12th to 19th century, Bologna, Paris, Oxford, Cambridge, these are the ones which have. And then 20th century onwards, the US universities were dominating. Okay. Oops, I went forward one. Sorry. Can I go back? Yeah. So there is this is from a paper which talks about the way in which universities have transformed, and there are small scale, large scale, conservative and high risk. So it started initially with, actually in this is a European paper. Before the Greek academies are Indian universities. That should be somewhere here. And then you had the European medieval universities. Many of them were related to religion. And then you had German research universities. German research universities actually had much more of a link with practice. And the link with practice is something which PSG has had, and I think it's very important to have that. Then you have American research and the land-grant universities where the focus is on large scale. Many of these US universities have many more students than even, like we have 12,000, 13,000 students at IIT. Many of these universities have 30,000, 40,000 students. They're also looking at a large amount of focus on research and innovation. So this was sort of the growth trajectory. So when we look at, we've talked about this already, that the research university has teaching and research. We are providing future workforce who become trained in employees going to industry. We are providing new ideas and techniques which can actually help industry modernize and create new industry. From industry, hopefully we get finance, we get a source of problems, we get an understanding of the objectives, and we also use a great explanation of phenomena. So this is something which, so now what I'm going to do is take you through some of the issues in education, research, with examples from IIT Delhi, and then at the end we can have a discussion so that we can try and see what are the issues. So we started, this is our convocation hall, Dogra Hall, this is the main building, this is the main gate. These are old pictures. I don't know whether. So it started off as an engineering college in 1961. In 1963, we became an IIT. First convocation was addressed by the then president in 1966. We started getting the first large-scale research infrastructure electron microscope in 1975. In 2018, we became an institution of eminence. Can I just... These are some old glimpses of life at the IIT we had just collected during our 60th year. Go to the next slide, please. This doesn't work. So again, some glimpses. Hostel life, this is more recent. Hostel life again. And this is our campus also. There are peacocks and birds. Okay, now let me tell you a little bit about our structure. These were the 5 original disciplines. We were just discussing with some of the heads of the colleges here, and textile was one of the earliest, and you have a strong textile department. We started off with applied mechanics, civil engineering, electrical, mechanical, and textile. And then we also had some humanities at that time. Then we have created biochemical engineering, biotechnology, computer science, material science, chemical engineering, energy science and engineering, more recent department, mathematics, physics, chemistry, and then we have a school of biological sciences. We have public policy, we have design, management studies, humanities and social sciences. In addition to this, we have another set of different centers. We have now a school of artificial intelligence funded by one of our alumnus. We have a school of information technology called the Bharti School of Information Technology funded by Bharti Airtel. Bharti School of Telecom. We have the Khosla School of Information Technology. And of course, we have a number of different research centers. Let me just show you. This is something I presented during our, this shows the number of graduates at different places, and you can see very clearly that the number of PhDs are going up. In the last year, we graduated in our convocation 530 PhD students. And I will just show you a glimpse. Many of us, we have actually, and like most, you would also have many such stories, we have many stories of transformation of students. So this is one example. This is a student, Anu Meena. She was from Manoli, a village in Rajasthan. She did up to the 10th standard. She did all her education in the Hindi medium, local school. She joined the Department of Biochemical and Biotechnology in 2011. And initially she struggled with English, but within a year, she was actually one of the key students. She started participating in sports and cultural activities. She was the sportswoman of the year, and then she graduated in 2016. After that, she started a company called AgroWave, which touches farmers' lives. And she said, she said, "मैं समंदर के लहरों के साथ बहने वाला पानी नहीं, बल्कि जो लहरों को जन्म दे, वो ताकत हूँ." She recognizes and acknowledges the role of IIT Delhi in transforming her life. Many of our students are first generation learners coming from low income, rural households, and we have transformed the lives of about 65,000 students. Of course, and increasingly today, and I will show you a map to show that, this is the JEE undergraduate students last year. you will find that students are coming from all over the country. And the institution is a melting pot. Both different kinds of students from different backgrounds, different languages, different income classes, right? So that has its own challenges, but I think that is one of the great things about an institution or an university. And of course, we are also a preferred destination. So these numbers would have changed. This is last year's numbers. We are about 660 faculty members and 12,500 students. Last year we gave 2,700 degrees. We are not as diverse as you. Our percentage of women students is not as high, but it is much better than it was a decade back. So today, we had in the last convocation, we graduated more than 200 women PhDs, and the number of graduating women was 736. We are about 26 or 27% women. Number of women students, 3,200. We have 119 international students, publish about 4,000 Scopus Index journals, and file about 130 to 150 patents annually. This just gives you. So let me tell you about the curriculum. And curriculum, a lot of the things that I'm talking about is more on engineering and science, but we have now, today we are a diverse institution. We have a Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. We have a School of Public Policy. We have a Department of Design. We have a Department of Management Studies. For our students, undergraduate students, we have a core of mathematics, science, and humanities and social sciences, about 1/3, 35%. Then we have a departmental core, 40 to 50%, and then remaining electives. There are also a set of new things that we've started, which are non-graded units, which is pass-fail, they don't have credits. They combine curricular and co-curricular activities for design and practical experience, life skills, professional ethics. We have possibilities for minor and specialization in department and interdisciplinary specialization. We have an advanced standing where you can convert to a higher degree. We try to have rigor, but we also try to provide flexibility. So we had a complete curriculum review of all our curriculums. And so this just gives you some new courses that we've started: electric mobility, machine intelligence, data science, cyber security, robotics. We've started a Masters of Science in Research in Biomedical Engineering only for doctors. So the doctors get a flavor of research. Atmospheric Ocean Science, Transportation Safety, Injury Prevention. MSc in Biological Sciences, Cognitive Science, Economics, Master of Public Policy. We've created a Master of Arts in Culture, Society, Thought. So that involves, that links up English, sociology, and psychology together. We've created a joint PG diploma with IIM Mumbai in Visionary Leadership in Manufacturing, MTech in VLSI Design, with a lot of industry sponsors. So this gives you some glimpses of some of the courses that we have. In the curriculum review and the new curriculum, what we tried to do, continue the focus on academic excellence, but enhance flexibility. Increase the focus on hands-on learning, and then try to keep elements which have social relevance and social responsibility, sustainability, multidisciplinarity, and AI/ML and design thinking. And we said that every student of IIT Delhi must have got through at least some course on sustainability and some course on AI, right, irrespective of the discipline. And we also try to focus on communication and teamwork, because a lot of our things are individual exam based. So we try to focus on that. We have some capstone projects. We did extensive consultation with stakeholders, recruiters, students and faculty. This is also consistent with NEP 2020. So in the curriculum revision, it is an outcome-based undergraduate, postgraduate, PhD curricula, flexibility with hands-on learning, AI and sustainability, life skills, and we said also smaller classes. We said that no class will be more than 150, and in each year there should be at least one course where there is a class of 30, so that people can get internships and teamwork also we are trying to establish. Students get good placements from different industries. I won't go into this. Generally, we are doing well in terms of ranking. Of course, we don't focus on ranking. Ranking sort of should be an outcome. My personal belief is that there is too much of emphasis on ranking and criteria, and this is distorting education. I talked to you, I said that we have many centers of excellence. Some are from industry, Schlumberger, Royal Technology, smart manufacturing, waste to wealth, sustainable infrastructure, ISRO Space Excel, smart textiles. The defense, with defense we have a DRDO joint center. So there are a number of. Now I'm going to give you some glimpses of research. This is just illustrative to show you some of the research that we are doing. We have tried to create, see what happens is historically, there are very good research faculty, right? And different research faculty who are good and who are renowned, they have their own, they get a lot of labs, projects, infrastructure, they create their own empire. And if you want to get the access to the equipment, you have to be a co-author, etc. So we consciously are breaking that model. We are saying that every equipment which is in our institute is accessible to everyone, not just in IIT Delhi, but across the country. So this we are doing through the National Research Facility, the Nano-Scale Research Facility, the Central Research Facility, and the Sati Foundation. Sati Foundation is a Section 8 company funded by DST. We have high-end characterization, fabrication, and specialized equipment. And the goal is that all of this is, you have online transparent systems to be able to book. There's significant investment in it. These are specialized equipment, so the operation and maintenance is a challenge always. But this is the goal that we have, and we are trying to create facilities which are like this. Now I give you some examples of research. One of our colleagues in civil engineering has developed, if you look at cement, the cement process has a significant carbon dioxide footprint, because if you look at the CaCO3, you have CO2 coming out, and we have actually created limestone calcined clay cement, which can have only 50% of the CO2 footprint of normal cement. This has been tried in about 25 countries in the world. And the colleagues who have developed this have actually not patented it, but have put the information in the public domain and said that we will provide consulting services. We have actually started in Africa. There is one research center which has been started with support from our faculty members. So this is one area. This is Project Prakash in collaboration with MIT Department of Brain and Cognitive Science. And the idea is you can restore sight to congenital blind humans. You understand this is science, vision science and neural mechanisms of recognition using AI models, understanding how we learn to see. And this is in connection with the Shroff, with some of the eye hospitals and eye clinics. And this is, I personally believe that, healthcare and medicine is the next frontier for science and engineering, because a lot of this has been empirical. a lot of this is something where if we can work with doctors and figure out things and actually engineer and do this, and this is a big challenge. Water security of the national capital region, and then we've been doing a number of projects. There's an India water model also that has been developed by our colleagues in civil engineering, which looks at the different kinds of forecasts and then using different types of models. Cyber physical factory, one of our colleagues in mechanical engineering looking at a whole host of implementation of different types of systems, mobile smart robots, programming and control. The idea is that we can actually enable and support different kinds of manufacturing practices. These are some examples of some research for hydrogen generation, photoelectrochemical cell, this is physics. This is again the looking at photodynamic therapeutics for diabetic foot ulcers. This is a project with our DRDO center, and essentially the idea is to create bulletproof jackets, lightweight, and most of these were imported, and this has been tested with different kinds of machine gun bullets and different types of bullets, and this is now being transferred to different industries so that they can scale and manufacture for. This is the type of engineering you can see. You can see that you have some CFD analysis, and then it's based on experiments, and then the kind of this is acoustical sensors. We've been working in care. We've been working on a lot of electronics for Navy, and a lot of these systems have been transferred to the Navy. We also have in applied mechanics, we have the a postgraduate diploma course for the Navy, naval architecture, and most of our alumni have been involved in all the indigenous development of warships, submarines, ships. This is for smart cane for the visually impaired, and there's been more than 1 lakh of users created, and this has been provided. We had a number of, during the COVID times, I think all institutions worked on it. This was one of our, so we had number of things on COVID research. We'll just go forward. This was another COVID test kit. Oh, I'm going backwards, I think. Sorry. Oops. I think it's going. Yeah, this is, so you know what, landslide predictions, looking at images, digital elevation, DEM models, looking at before and after, and trying to identify, create maps, early detection, and trying to do this. So the glacier burst. This is now plastic and waste to wealth. We have looking at pyrolysis. We also have a lot of work on plasma research, and that's another domain. We have fundamental work on the global CO2 surfaces at our Center for Atmospheric Sciences. And these are some of the technologies in healthcare which have been transformed, patented technology, point of care for bacterial biomarkers, bacterial infections, rapid diagnostics of TB, nanoarray based detection of dengue, different kinds of robots for robotic surgery, and with AIMS, telerobotic ultrasound systems. This is some of the technology our colleagues demonstrated along with DRDO, quantum communication, quantum key distribution, 100 kilometers between Prayagraj and Vindhyachal, optical fiber base. The whole idea is this is quantum encrypted, so that only with your quantum key you will be able to decrypt the message. We have also done free, without the optical fiber, over a demonstration of free space quantum communication, 1 kilometer in our campus. And again, that's also with DRDO. Different kinds of robotics, different kinds of industrial scale production of nano fibers, 5G test bed, AI ML prediction of model, monsoon, spintronics hardware. We have, I think, I do not know, maybe you are, maybe PSG is also part of this. We are, there's a scheme called the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, where we are connected now. It's a little more, I think 17 or 18,000 villages, 3,200. What we said is, mostly we do research for industry, for urban, and it's important that we focus on rural areas. And this is where we are looking at giving our students and researchers the possibility of having rural internships, looking at products. We have agreements with Gram Panchayats, and so that we can identify rural problems and work on it. This, we talked about STEP. We also have, we like to have our students and faculty run with their ideas. And this is, we have a technology business incubator. We have about 200 startups, 100 physically. We also have in our Sonipat campus an Atal Innovation Center where we have 40 startups. We have a biotechnology business incubation facility, and we have a research and innovation park where we allow industries to co-locate. And we provide support in terms of idea validation, business plan creation, monitoring, accreditation, pitching, market strategies, PR support. These are some of the products which you can see. Electric bike, AI-based facial recognition, and this is the swarm of drones. This is the swarm of drones, Bot Lab, one of the startups incubated at our, and these are some of the student, I saw that you also, you have a student, this is an electric vehicle, student electric vehicle team, iGEM, and these are some of the other iGEM characteristic students, student achievements. Campus, if you see IIT Delhi campus, you can see that photovoltaics is quite visible. We have about 2.8 megawatts of PV on our rooftops. And we have electric battery powered e-rickshaws. We have a compressed biogas facility, anaerobic digesters, electric vehicle chargers. These are some of our new infrastructure. So some of our infrastructure, we are a 65-year-old institution. Some of the infrastructure is aging, and we are trying to replace and provide. These are some of the new constructions which have happened. We also have a campus 50 kilometers away, which is Sonipat, which we are providing. This has got, now we are going to launch the new supercomputer 250 petaflops, and that is also accessible to anyone in the country, and that's going to be launched hopefully by our Prime Minister later this week. We have different equipments and central research facilities, cell biology lab. We were asked by the government to set up a campus in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi, and this was a government-to-government collaboration, we have started this campus, and currently we have BTech in computer science, energy engineering, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, MTech in energy transitions and sustainability, MTech in machine intelligence and data science, and a PhD program. So it's just been 2-3 years since we started, but this is our international forum. We have MOUs with many different countries, and I'll give you some glimpses of. We have a joint program with Taiwan University. Here the focus is for us to access the fab. So this is in semiconductor and devices. We have a joint PhD program with the University of Queensland, about 120, 130 PhD students jointly supervised. We have just recently started a master's and PhD program with Sorbonne in France. And we have a virtual One Health campus. We have a New Zealand center with a collaboration with all the 8 New Zealand universities and IIT Delhi. With the International Solar Alliance, we have a master's program in renewable energy and policy where we have 20 students from 20 different countries. And today, in this year, we are going to start a new program for training the trainers, a postgraduate diploma in renewable energy, again funded by this. Our alumni have done well in terms of companies and startups, and have, of course, they have, gives you a glimpse of some of the alumni in different fields. Sorry. This is some of our renowned alumni, some of them are known. Now I just want to talk to you about, many of you are also, as when you do run academic institutions, there's an administration that we have to do. And I think it's very important for us when we do this that we have clearly defined financial power and we delegate and we provide autonomy and flexibility to individual departments. We also, being in government, we all follow these rules, but we also need to look at the spirit of the rule. We need to have an adherence to the rule, but also look at the spirit. We need to create, as the institutions mature, systems and processes with clear-cut roles and responsibilities, and have proper feedback mechanisms. Often we spend a lot of time in firefighting, but instead of being short-term, we should have a planned long-term approach. So the other thing which you will be engaging with, and when we talk in terms of ideas and knowledge, what are the kind of policies that we have for IP? What kind of mechanisms for revenue sharing? What incentives for investors? Should we have a liberal policy for startups? And how do we manage? We have a number of patents. What do we do with those patents? How do we deal with protection, litigation? And what policies should we have for the research park? These are all interesting questions. In terms of areas also, should we identify a few thrust areas? What should be the process for such identification? Should we include, exclude, decision by an individual or group? Are we enthusing or demotivating? Bottom up or top down. So all of these are important as we sort of look at the areas. It's important for an institution to create a strategic plan, and we have just created a plan for 10 years, 2035 strategic plan. Create a process which involves ground up thinking, get broad stakeholder involvement, announce and publicize plans and goals, integrate the strategic plan with annual budgets and decision making, allocate funding and responsibilities for action items, review progress and make mid-course corrections. So, strategies for academia, we need to have new models for interaction with the industry, academia-industry interaction, and it's very, very important because the nature of jobs is changing drastically. AI is a big disruptor. We also have to identify potential areas where Indian industry can have a competitive advantage jointly with industry and government, and then only then can we think of Viksit Bharat 2047. With other academic institutions and research institutions, we will collaborate, we will also compete. So it is a combination. Even for industries, they will collaborate and compete. We have to have a proactive understanding of future trends. We also have to recognize trade-offs and choices, catalyze innovation and entrepreneurship. We have to have new methods for curriculum and pedagogy, because very clearly today the challenge of exciting students in the classroom is a very, very big challenge. We need to really find new ways of doing that. And the role is we have to enable diversity and inclusion. We have to create and enable a humane environment, an environment that shows that is better than the society around it, that is forward-looking, and where, and this is always a challenge because you are affected. Improve, we also have to, academia has to understand nature and reality. We know so many challenges, sustainability, healthcare, natural disasters, inequality. We also need to see whether, many people believe that technology will solve the world's problems. But the fact remains that despite all the technological developments, the problems still persist. So we need to have a normative definition of what is a desirable future, how we will go there. Human intelligence and artificial intelligence, where should we go? We cannot just be reactive and say that we have to be proactive. We have to define the bounds by which artificial intelligence needs to work. We in academia need to provide leadership of thought for the rest of society. There is always a balance and a trade-off between short-term relevance. But it is academics and academic which actually bring about change and actually create the future. These are some of the references, and this is my email ID. Thank you so much for listening to me patiently. I'll be happy to take questions, or if you have some comments, we can have a discussion. Depending on the amount of time available, let's go ahead. We can stop the slides and I can maybe stand here. Take this up.
Good morning, sir. You mentioned that Nalanda and Taxila universities were in existence before Greek academia. You mentioned that India had universities even before Europe had. Have you taken any steps to include Indian universities in the slide that you have shown? Are not we pioneers?
Yes, we are pioneers. And
the world should know our pride.
Absolutely. That is why that is the first slide I show,
Yeah.
the Indian slide, yes.
You should take some steps to include our universities in the slide.
Yes, yes. That slide is taken from a different source which I have put. Before that slide, I have shown the Indian slide, and I did mention that you're absolutely right.
Check. So, respected sir,
Yes.
I'm here. So, I'm
Okay.
Dr. Vigneshwaran from Production Engineering. So, first of all, I thank PSG for this opportunity, since I'm talking to the Director of IIT Delhi. So, my question is, we have so many universities, so many educational institutions across the globe, but still we have some disputes between states, between nations. There are some wars. What is your perspective? Where should we add some educational values, either in the higher education forum or in any other education system, such that the world can live in a peaceful environment? Should we have to include any strategies since you have also touched upon the strategies to be included for the academia and Vikshit Bharat for 2047. So what is your view? How can we live peacefully with the future of higher education and research? Thank you, sir.
So that's a very difficult question to answer. I'll tell you one of the things. I think, increasingly we are seeing trends all across the world which are divisive, where you are protecting your state or your country and you don't bother about the rest of the things. And I think it is important for us to educate and have values, and this is where humanities, ethics, the issue of what is a desirable society can be, where we have a discussion. I think this is a long-term thing, but the whole focus of creating a humane society, a society where you are bothered and you are being inclusive, is the responsibility of higher education. It is a difficult responsibility because we are in a society where there are scarce resources, where there will be stakeholders having views, and we are affected by it. But we as academics have to take the higher, longer-term vision and try to imbibe the same in our students. This is not something which can happen just by courses, by diktat. It has happened by example. And it is a challenge that we are losing. Academia all over the world is actually succumbing to these trends. And I think it's a very important question, but in my mind, this is the responsibility of academics, to create future generations of students who are focused on sustainability, who are focused on inclusion, who are focused on peace. Also to create opportunities. All of this is happening because of inequities, because of fears that jobs will go, fears that certain things will happen. So I think it is a continuing thing, and it has been the situation in academia even historically, if you see. There have been thinkers, there have been people who've been trying to create larger vision, there have been reformers, philosophers, but I think when we think in terms of the future of education, this is an important thing. How to do it? Not an easy task. It is something which we have to create a culture, an academic environment, educate, get that spirit in people. And yeah, I'm sorry, that's the best answer I can give.
Immense thanks, sir, for showcasing some of the strategies. As you have witnessed probably from yesterday discussing with the think tanks, PSG and Sons is one institution with strategically moving forward in various spheres. My question is, when India is blessed with so much resources, why we are still in the lot of like institutions like IIT, CSIR, ICMR, ICARs, are we capturing enough resources to put our nation in the developed nation? Are we addressing enough to cater to the need of addressing local diseases? For example, we don't work on cholera so much rather than going about cancers and a lot of neuro diseases. Are we sustaining to the Indian needs and put our country forward in the global platform? That's the nutshell.
So I think there are a number of things. All our academic institutions need to connect much better with the local and regional environment. Given the kind of incentive structure and the things that are there, the focus earlier has been on peer-reviewed international publications, and that dictates a certain way of looking at things. Now, there are many incentives and structures for research on local and regional. But we need to consciously try to do that. The other issue which you said about India and resources, and we have very good people, very good ideas. We have relatively the percentage of good quality institutions is small, right? And that is why we have such a competitive, the entrance exam becomes more important. And that is a problem, actually. That we need to make sure that irrespective of the entrance, all our students get very good quality education. So we have, I think it's about, Tamil Nadu is a little better. Higher education, the GER, that means gross enrollment ratio, percentage of people in the range of 19 to 22, 21, that what percentage is actually in the higher education. That is less than 30% for the country. For Tamil Nadu, it's 50%, right? So we also now what is happening is students are questioning all over the world, what's the relevance of higher education? So we need to make that extra effort to be relevant, to link with the local, the regional, the national, with the industry. And we have to do it in a mission mode. Most of us are very complacent in what we do. We teach the same things, do the same research, but the world is changing and changing rapidly. We cannot afford to do that. That's why we need to have different models. I agree with you that, but I am very hopeful because our students and faculty are comparable with the best in the world, right? So I think we have that as a benefit. The investment, being a relatively poor country, we have not made that much investment in education and research if you look at percentage. That's been recognized as a problem and that is happening. Industry has been used to getting ready-made technology. Industry is slowly starting investing in research. All of this is changing, but changing slowly. There's a rapid pace of change, and our industry needs to be globally competitive. So we need to have new models of working together with industry and government. And we have to provide the lead in academia to say how this should be done. Because no one knows actually. Right? Thank you.
Sir, I'm happy to see the kind of output which IIT Delhi has produced, the kind of consultancy work which you have done with DRDO, and a lot of work has been done for agricultural research, engineering, the kind of equipment what you have, research centers what you have, consultancy work which you are doing. So certainly in all IITs and top institutions, a lot of such work is going on. But is there any platform one could think of where all the top researchers can combine and give a better output and better outcome, where we will be competitive with all developed countries? Is there any such chance which could be
I
I
think there are many such chances. The first thing I would like to say is that all of our equipment is accessible to researchers. So if someone from PSG wants to come and use some specialized optical microscope, or let's say the cryo-electron microscope, it's possible. There's already a mechanism to do that. The second thing is ANRF has this scheme now called PAIR, I think, where they are looking at local, regional, hub and spoke kind of models. We have this year created a scheme called Align, where we are partnering with all the NITs so that NIT students can spend some time at IIT NIT faculty and researchers joint projects, we were saying we have international collaborations, why don't we have something at the national level? So there are modes of doing this, but we are always open to, at the national level, there is an understanding that we need to build overall capacity and link up. So I think that is also happening. I mean, there are schemes in that direction. Yes, sir.
Sir, our Prime Minister is talking about making India a developed country by 2047. There is much skill deficiency in our country. With this much of skill deficiency, will we be able to become a developed country by 2047?
So I think what we have is we have a lot of young people and we have a lot of innovation. There's a lot of jugaad also in the system. So skill deficiencies can be made up. We can upgrade. We have to have a strategy in different domains to see that they are competitive. So I do believe that we can do that, but that would need new ways for academia, research and government to work together. Yes.
Hello, sir. So in PSG also, we have done a lot of things in renewables. So we have about 2.4 megawatt of rooftop solar and about 20 megawatt of solar wind projects outside the campus. Okay, as it is about 90% of our energy comes from renewables. Here in your this thing, you have mentioned solar thermal power plants. What exactly it means? Is it different from solar and?
So, you know, solar insolation, there are multiple ways of trapping it. One is when we look at silicon and you have photovoltaic, you get directly from incident solar, you are having a current and a voltage. And then you have DC, you put them in package. That is one way, and that's a cost-effective way which has been there. Solar thermal, on the other hand, is where you have, for instance, you have for cooking, right? You can have the incident solar coming in, you can heat water, generate steam, and you can do cooking. Some of the large, in Shirdi, there's a solar thermal cooking. Now, solar thermal, what we did in this is you have glass, you have a parabolic collector, and it focuses on a line. And in that line, you have heat transfer oil. So with that, you are getting temperatures of about 400 degrees, and then you run a turbine. So that's a different model. That has not been as cost-effective as PV, but the advantage of solar thermal is that it can integrate better with storage. You can have thermal energy storage. So there are examples of doing that, but solar thermal has a lot of industrial application. So you can have, there is actually, we were partnering with, there's a company in Coimbatore itself, KG Systems, and they make linear Fresnel reflectors, and they are doing for industry a whole host of things. So that's it is slightly different. Solar thermal and solar PV used to compete, and then PV costs came down. So PV became more of an option. But even now, when we go for higher and higher levels of penetration, there is a possibility of solar thermal. So many countries are actually looking at that.
See,
but that's the difference.
That thermal storage is very cost effective.
Yes, with that, and it can integrate better with that.
Yeah.
Dr. Rangan Banerjee, in the first row here.
Yes.
They are just going through the traditional universities, the Nalanda and Takshila, where they don't offer traditional undergraduate or postgraduate programs. It was more of a mastery-based model.
Sure.
And IITs is one such where you create people because of the good student-teacher ratio. And in those universities, most of the assessment was formative. They would observe student behavior, student learning of craft, and the ability to debate, discuss. Summative is in fact not very important. Now, how does it translate in the IIT model?
Unfortunately, we are not able to do that. We have a strong focus on examinations, and in the examinations we have a lot of different tricky questions. We are trying to emphasize capstone projects and teamwork, but the idea, see that, we don't have that attractive student-teacher ratio. We are nowhere near the 1:10 or even 1:15. So that has been a challenge because there's a certain quality of input faculty that we want. But at the higher levels in the PhD, etc., it is a combination of both. What we are trying to do now in our first year, in the initial course of design and engineering in the labs, we have revamped that. So they have, at the first year course, they are all making products, and there's a big exhibition one day where we assess and then do. But then also when we do these kind of things, I got a complaint from a student saying that I did such a good project, but I did not get, and what was the basis for it, and then the marks. Unfortunately, our whole focus is on assessment. Assessment is just it's a necessary evil. We want to bring out the most in our students. So I would like to, we are grappling with this thing of how can we have more engagement of students with faculty. I'll give you some examples of things that we've done. We've created a scheme called SURA, where it's summer undergraduate research opportunities, and faculty members put projects, students can work with, and we fund it. We also have a 1, 2, 3, 4 scheme. 1, 2, 3, 4 means we have a project where there's a first year student, second year student, third year student, fourth year student, and faculty. And together they build something, and we fund that. So there are some such initiatives. We also had, I asked our alumni to review our incubation ecosystem. They reviewed it and they suggested that they would like to run a venture studio. So we have a venture studio run by our alumni who've done entrepreneurship, and it's very successful. Many students join that, and then they each one, finally they come up with a product and a pitch. I think we don't have the answers, but your idea of having more observing, understanding, all of this is ideal. It is something to go to, but with the numbers and the kind of things that we have it's still focused a lot on examination. Other thing which I did not talk about, which I think must be, which is a important thing for all institutions, universities, the mental health and wellness of students. Very, very important issue. In most of our students are staying on campus, a large number, and there are, with the current system, earlier we used to have, the focus, social media, the devices, people are not so connected with each other and with faculty, and so we are trying to, we have counseling, we have a number of things, but this is, I think this is also a challenge which we have to find ways to do that, where, faculty members are also seen as individuals whom people can go to for advice, not just teachers whom you have to fight for grades for. So I think it is actually a difficult thing. Yeah. Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
This is Julius from PSG iTech, and I thank PSG groups for this centenary lecture. My question is, since we are pioneer in this higher education development, but still most of our higher educations we are following Washington Accord standards. What is the future when we are developing our own framework for our youngsters to be more rely on society-based problem solvings. What is the steps we need to follow that?
So whether you look at Washington Accord or you look at the Bologna process, the Europeans, now we have our own NEP. See, the point is, as I told you, historically, we have to find our own reality, but we have to be aware of what is happening in the world, right? So I think we have very few good Indian journals. And so you want to do quality research which is recognized by peers, but you also want to focus on local and relevant problems. And I think that is something which, as I was saying, new models by which we integrate with our industry, our government, our society has to be there. And you have to also remember, a publication is but a proxy. We are creating new knowledge, new value. Publication is something which others are looking at, peers are saying, so then it has a value, right? But finally, if you solve a local problem with some new innovation, that's also important. So the government has been talking now of PhDs which are product-based PhDs, not necessarily with any publication. The question then becomes, how do you assess it? And the whole question which is talked of, formative and summative, is the kind of thing. Many of these things we really need to think about, because we have to first accept that we don't have the answers, right? And then we have to approach many problems with a humility. We think that we know the answers, and the fact is that most of the global problems still persist despite all the developments in science and technology. And I think that's the way we need to come from. Okay? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm glad to see that there are so many questions. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for your presentation. It was like an eye-opener for us, the way which you presented. And my doubt is, as academicians, how do we strike a balance between teaching, research and innovation? What is your view on that?
So I think individually, every person will find a different balance, right? You don't want necessarily to have someone who ticks the box, says, I do so many papers, so much teaching, so much. There'll be some who are more focused on teaching. But then you have to do some research to be able to know what is going on. There'll be some who are more into making things and having ideas in innovation, right? So it's not necessarily that at each individual faculty level you have to strike a balance. That balance will be struck across the department or the group. But having said that, everyone must have some part of teaching and research, and in the research some innovation will come. The thing is that it's not just a box you have to tick. You have to find what motivates you, and you have to strike a balance. There are places where, there are different kinds of assessment processes. There are international universities where you set your own goals and you put your weightage of how much should be for teaching, how much, and then you are assessed based on that. So those are the kind of things. Many of these things we don't really have open discussions and see, right? And then people are just left. Even for us, we have a faculty member, he or she just takes, and typically in the initial years, the focus is only on research. We are trying to now emphasize that teaching is extremely important. So I don't have the answer to your question, but I think you cannot dictate a balance for the individual. It is for the individual to see. We have to enable those things, and at the group, you have to see that the balance is there. So someone is doing research, someone else is doing startups, you collaborate. That could be a way of doing things. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Shobana from PSG College of Arts and Science. Thank you so much for this wonderful lecture. We got a 360-degree overview of various aspects of IIT Delhi. And our take-home message is every student has to complete a certification in AI and or sustainability. That is what you were mentioning, the IIT Delhi students. So NEP 2020 largely emphasizes on artificial intelligence as well as sustainability. And I would like to know how IIT Delhi is integrating Indian knowledge system into the curriculum.
So, Indian knowledge system, we have a center called National Resource Center for Value Engineering. And in that there are courses and electives. We also have a course on life skills. And in many of the disciplines also, people are focusing on showing some of the traditional knowledge systems. But we have not explicitly created another set of things for that. But there are courses being offered by NRCVE, and some of them are credit courses, some of them are those non-graded units. And that's so that students get an exposure, and then depending on their interest, they can take more.
Probably the last question for
I
this
think
session.
the lady over there.
Sir, I'm Dr. Vasantamani from PSG College of Technology. We have introduced 2 self-directed learning courses which we make the students to learn about entrepreneurship in our campus. And the students have shown interest in learning, taking up this course, and we give them an advantage of exempting from open electives from the curriculum. And increasingly the students' interest has come for the first course, and later when we move on to the second course, due to their academic activities, the strength has come down. I want to understand how many students in IIT Delhi, while doing their course itself, they are interested in taking up this entrepreneurship as their.
So, we've been tracking these numbers. Roughly in the set of graduates, I showed you 2,700 graduates, about 10% of them are either joining startups or doing entrepreneurship. That's the number, and it's a growing number because earlier, if you took it 4 or 5 years back, it would have been much lower. We also have a scheme by which, you can have a deferred placement. If you are doing a startup, you try your startup for 2 years. If it fails, you come back and you can sit for placement. So that is a scheme which is there. Entrepreneurship is difficult to teach, because it's not there is theory, but it's also practice. So we have found, we also have entrepreneurship courses, but we found that this venture studio created by our alumni, which is done in the evenings, they take 30 students, and there are about 300 students wanting to take that course. They find a lot of practical things from people who've gone through that. So we find that. So I think, but it's good that you have entrepreneurship courses which are successful.
Probably the last question, sir. Please.
Yeah, she's been waiting.
So good afternoon, sir. Myself.
Okay, we'll take your question and then the last. We'll take her question also. Yeah.
Myself, Paul John Peter. I'm a chemistry teacher in PSG Public School. We are preparing our children for IRIS, which is research in STEM, which is to be conducted every year. And our children are participating this year. We are preparing them. If our ideas for top performers are selected and they are attending region around ISEF in US. Okay, our ideas are taken away and they are patented in out of countries. Our young minds are generating the new ideas. It is not a question, it is a humble request. Can we have such program in IIT Delhi or in India so that our ideas can be used for our countries or our betterment?
I think there are many schemes of the type that you suggest, right? We also have the Samsung challenge. We have a number of things. These are typically for first year students, not for school children. Many of the national schemes are such where the IP is protected nationally. When students are going abroad, they know that this is the thing. So I think there are schemes. If you send me mail, I can try to give you links with the scheme. We have started in IIT Delhi, we've started a scheme called Manasvi for women students. We feel that women students feel that engineering and IIT Delhi they may not have enough information. So we have about 100 students, school students. We give them lectures, they interact with our students, they do hands-on activity, they go and do a project, they come back, and we are trying to have more women students come into engineering. So we have some schemes. We also have an open house for schools on one day, one Saturday. We are trying to engage with schools and do this, but I see your point about the IP and ideas, but there are some schemes nationally. Yes, my last question.
Good afternoon, sir. Professor Gauri from PSG College of Arts and Science. PSG group of institutions usually take the benchmark referring to IITs and IIMs. So likewise, what is your frame of reference with regarding world universities, or IIT will take the frame of reference from where? That is my first question. And number two, wonderful presentation about IIT. In spite of IIT doing good, why is that we have not come up in the 50 numbers at least in the world ranking? Is there any specific reason? If so, what is the resource or the structure or anything that you want to change in IIT? Thank you.
So let me start with we are in engineering and technology, IIT Delhi is currently ranked 36th in the world. In computer science, electrical, mechanical, civil and chemical, we are in the top 50 in the world. Having said that, the ranking in terms of international students and international faculty is one where all Indian institutions don't do well. I believe that we are much better than our ranking. And this is evident from the way our students do. If you look at resources and funding, you take the top 100 institutions and you see the kind of fund situation that they have. It adds at least 2 zeros to the fund that IIT Delhi has. So we provide quality education at a cost-effective price. That's not to say that we should not do better. And we have actually, I don't really believe in the ranking business. We should do what we are supposed to do, integrate better and make things with society. Rankings should improve. Our rankings have improved. We were 190 and we've gone up to 118. We'll probably get into the top 100. That doesn't matter. I think the important thing is we have to be much better linked with industry and society. And we need to also do many things where groups of faculty get together and have better social impact. And those are things we are working on. As I told you, we are launching a vision, 2035 vision in our convocation on Saturday. And we are also making a plan for complete campus rebuilding. And our Prime Minister will be actually hopefully launching the vision on Saturday. So we do have plans, and But your question is valid. I think we need to as institutions do better. But I think we also need to have pride in our own institutions. Unfortunately, this ranking business creates a lot of there's always a lot of negativity. Many of the, we collaborate with many of these institutions. I think we are probably slightly better than what our rankings show. There is a lot of scope for improvement, and I think we need not be complacent. We need to really work much better with industry and see that we add value to society, right? If we do that, whether or not ranking improves, it should be okay. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for so much
sir.
interaction.
Thank you so much, sir, for your extensive interactive session with all the valued audience. And we formally thank, please be seated, sir. We formally thank you very much, sir, for your valuable knowledge sharing session and the wit in highlighting the importance of cultivating the knowledgeable, skilled, ethical, and adaptable individuals who can contribute meaningfully to their professional and societal growth. Thank you once again, sir, on behalf of the organizing team. It is time to show our gratitude to the Honorable Chief Guest of today's function. As a token of our love and appreciation, we invite Mr. Nandakumar, Core Committee member of PSG Sons and Charities Centenary celebrations, to present the citation to the Chief Guest. Thank you, sir. Now we do invite Dr. B. Ramamurthy, Secretary, Total Quality Management, PSG Institutions, to present the memento to the Chief Guest. Thank you, sir.
As we have come to the end of the program, it is indeed a great pleasure to invite the Head Department of Foundry Technology, Dr. M. Arasu, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone present. First and foremost, we express our heartfelt gratitude to PSG and Charities and the management for the remarkable vision and foresight in establishing this premier technical institution even before India's independence. As we celebrate the centenary year of PSG and Sons Charities, we proudly remember the noble ideals of our founding fathers, whose vision, commitment, and service to society continue to inspire generation. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished chief guest, Professor Rangan Banerjee, Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, for graciously accepting our invitation and delivering a truly enlightening centenary lecture on the future of higher education, research and innovation in India. Through his inspiring address, he highlighted the evolving role of higher education in national building, traced the rich history and transformation of universities, and emphasized the importance of internationalization, stronger industry-institutional collaboration, and multidisciplinary education. He shared the remarkable initiative of IIT Delhi, including the introduction of new programs in emerging and interdisciplinary domains, curriculum innovation, advanced research, and future thrust areas. His valuable insights on strategies for academia to remain globally relevant, innovative, and socially impactful have provided us with a clear vision for the future of higher education. We sincerely thank him for sharing his wisdom, experience, and inspiring thoughts with us. Thank you, sir. Our sincere thanks to our respected Managing Trustee for initiating the centenary celebration and for his constant encouragement and visionary leadership and unwavering support in making this event a grand success. Our heartfelt appreciation goes to our principal, Dr. B. Giriraj, whose guidance and encouragement have been instrumental in organizing this centenary lecture. We are honored by the presence of the heads of institution, principals, secretaries, and distinguished dignitaries. We sincerely thank them for joining us and making this celebration even more memorable. My special thanks to the core committee member of the PSG and Charities Centenary celebrations for their timely support, valuable guidance, and meticulous coordination. We gratefully acknowledge the presence of the office bearers of various PSG alumni associations, council member, senior alumni, retired faculty members, and all our special invitees and guests. Your presence had added immense value and prestige to this celebration. We also express our sincere thanks to all the deans, controller of examinations, head of the departments, faculty members, teachers, and research scholars from various PSG educational institutions whose enthusiastic participation has made the centenary lecture truly meaningful and successful. A special word of appreciation goes to the faculty member and supporting staff of the Department of Foundry Technology and Electronics and Communication Engineering, along with the entire organizing committee whose tireless efforts and teamwork and ensured the successful conduct of today's program. We also gratefully acknowledge the members of the print, electronic and social media for their valuable coverage of this memorable event. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. S. Sharmula, HOD EC, for coordinating chief guest, Master of Ceremony Dr. Shankar Kumar, Dr. Sangeeta, General Maintenance, Purchase and Canteen and supporting organizations. Once again, on behalf of PSG Polytechnic College, I extend my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for your gracious presence, encouragement and support in making this centenary lecture a meaningful one. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, sir. Now we request everyone to rise up for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे